Honda's lineup. All the same bike, of course. Similar technical regulations to the European Talent Cup, but you can make a few changes here in terms of suspension, but we'll get into that as the race gets underway. Carter Brown on the pole. Away we go. It's the second one of the weekend for the Honda British Talent Cup at Silverstone in England. A few people darting from their right to their left, but it's a great start for all of the MLAV riders, and I think we've got a 1, 2, 3 as we come round Cox for the first time. Look at the Banks Racing machine right up there. Harrison Crosby is the yellow bike, and Rhys Stevenson's up to 4th. Rhys Stevens having a really good start to the season as he continues to progress. Look for the Microdisc bikes as well, the red and white machines cutting through the pack. Correa, the American, is one of them, but Michael Laverty will be pleased because they're all up towards the front.
It was great yesterday, actually. After this race, I was speaking to Simon from Vision Track, who is the title sponsor of this whole project, and he's like an expectant father with these little young riders riding around there, and I know how he feels myself. I've not got any kids myself, but looking after Josh and Scott is just the same, and it's great to see so much young talent in this championship.
Johnny Guy leads, number 57, the 13-year-old from Ilfracombe in Devon. Keanu Via's made a good start, hasn't he? He was 6th on the grid, and he was briefly up into 2nd place, but the order is shuffling. Yep, he is still indeed up there in 2nd place. There he is, Carter Brown from pole. I was going to say 3rd, but Rhys Stevenson cuts through now, and number 23, Rhys Stevenson, the 16-year-old from Boston, Rocket Racing. There he is on the black bike, up to 3rd place. And we said before the start, Alex Baldolini, the former World Supersport rider, is the Dorna representative here. Oh, and Rhys, just as I was picking him up, nearly loses it at Beckett's.
Yeah, it's really easy for that to happen in there. We talked about this yesterday in the race. The corner is a bit of a bottlenose as you get up towards a bottleneck, sorry, not a bottlenose. We're not talking about dolphins here, Greg. As you get into that corner, it all tightens up quite a lot, and as the riders go in there, the guy in front is controlling the pace, and you can see here, just as he goes in, he's a little bit unsighted with the rider in front. Oh, yeah, actually, the rear came around a little bit there, just as he got on the throttle. And that's easy done. He ran wide there on the paint, but managed to hold it very well.
And I agree with you, no dolphins, but he is having a whale of a time. There he is, 4th place as we move into lap 3 of 22. And Keanu Via, the Dutch rider, hits the front. Johnny Garnes is down into 2nd. Carter Brown then he's 3rd. You can see on the left-hand side where they are in relation to their grid positions, and we'll keep a track of that through the race. We've got a new graphic this year as well, which shows their progression in terms of a graph. But look at this. You've got Correa there, number 40. Yes, straight through. That's brilliant. He was 6th at the start of the lap, but now the American Julian Correa, the 13-year-old on the Cresswell Racing machine, is up into 4th place. And look, there's Roosbrook. We mentioned him, the Dutch rider, fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, that was a great pass as he went in there. It's quite good if you can get up the inside as you approach the corner. You then got the track position, the riders on your outside can't turn in, and that's exactly what he did. Let the brakes off a little bit, got in front of them or just alongside of them, didn't let them to turn into the corner, and then got out very well as well. So he's up to 3rd now and having a great race. Roosbrook as well, my hot pick from Scott Ogden. Whatever Scott Ogden's told him is obviously working, setting the fastest lap.
There's the graphics at the top of the screen, which will show us which lap we are on. And look at the grit that Correa is finding now with another fastest lap, and he's up to 2nd, not for long, because that's Garnes with his lightweight advantage. Even having a look at Keanu Via, who leads the race. Keanu came into the category last year. There's his progression so far from 6th on the grid, and in the lead of this race. You can see which lap he took it on, and he stayed where he is. We had a lot of ups and downs yesterday, but the track temperature now is up to 33 degrees Celsius here at Silverstone. Via, like Garnes, Taylor, very lightweight, isn't he? So for straights, the other riders, they pull away on the long straights here, the Wellington straight and the start-finish, but the others are having to work harder in the corners. Then again, when we get to somewhere like Alton Park next time out, much more physical track, that's going to perhaps go towards the other riders, and the lightweight ones won't have such an advantage.
Yeah, it's a bit cat and mouse on this track for the bigger riders. They lose out around this section. This is flat out on one of these bikes. They're using all of the power, but then on the tighter corners they can use their strength and their size to probably brake later and get the bike up the inside of the smaller riders. So it's a disadvantage in some areas, but when you do get to tracks like Alton Park, some of the bigger riders in this class will find it a little bit easier on the change direction.
Via, incidentally, who is now in second place, number 53, the young Dutch rider who might not be second for long, had one second place last year, one podium, and that was on the national circuit at Donington. Harrison Crosby there, easy to spot Harrison with the bright yellow machine. So let's have a look at this. It's lightweight Garnes versus lightweight Via, side by side down the Wellington Straight. Correa's going through for third on Crosby, or at least trying to. Correa's having a look even at his teammate there as we get down into Brooklands. The corner speed Crosby's carrying, not just at Beckett's, but through Brooklands and Luffield here, is really, really impressive. There's Carter Brown on the white machine, number 74. Reece Stevenson right behind him, and we have a breakaway of 6 then. It's of second now, back to Harrison de Soy in 7th place. McKay is 8th. McCabe is 9th after the crash yesterday. Willis is 10th. Roosbroek is now 11th from Lucas Brown, but they're shuffling all the time. Bailey Stewart Campbell just inside the points scorers. Long races here, unlike the other support junior categories here at BSB. They're all on full racing slick tyres. Moto 3 slick tyres from Dunlop, and now the Banks racing machine goes through. Crosby underneath Johnny Garnes, and for the first time this season, Crosby's leading.
I was just going to say, Harrison looks like he's got a lot of confidence in the front of his bike. You can see as he gets on the approach to the corners, he's really confident to let the front brake off, get up the inside of the riders. You'll see here, he'll actually let the brake off and rail right around the outside. That's all confidence in the front tyre that he's got there, that's letting him get away with doing that. And it's, yeah, great to see it's keeping him at the front of this race.
Tony, you've raced in Red Bull Rookies Cup, haven't you, and 125s and things in the years when you're in pack racing, as Stevenson exceeds track limits in the background. Be careful of that one. It must be just patience, though. Patience is a virtue. It must be so tempting to want to be in the lead, but you don't necessarily need to be in the lead every single time over the line, do you?
Yeah, in my Red Bull rookie career, a lot of the races were like this, where there were sort of 8-10 riders in the front group, and it took me too long to figure out exactly what I should be doing. And what I used to tend to do was think, oh, I'm in the bunch, I'll be fine, I'll wait till the last lap. But what tends to happen is the riders that are in the top 3 circulate within the top 3. One lap you're first, the next lap you're third, you get back to first, and you circulate in that area. I tended to circulate between 6th and 10th, and then ended up between 6th and 10th. So it's generally the riders that can keep at the front of this, because it doesn't take a lot for one rider to make a mistake or someone have an aggressive pass on someone else, and suddenly the group can get split up. So you'll see here these riders that keep trying to make their way to the front to keep themselves circulating in that front bunch.
This is that second group. It's about 2 seconds now. It's up to just over 2 seconds, and that would have increased, I guess, on this lap. Harley McCabe's at the front of the group. Here's Peter Willis, the Northern Irish rider, number 99. He was the second rider involved in that really bad accident involving Casey O'Gorman, if you remember, at Knock Hill last year. That put Casey out for a selection of races, and he still managed to bounce back and win at the championship. Great to see Peter Willis on top form. He was right up there in qualifying. Scored 8 points for 8th place in yesterday's race, but could have been even higher up, and he's definitely going to be one to watch. He is one of those many MLAV Vision Track Academy riders in this race. There are 5 of them: McCabe, Willis, Carter Brown, Dan Goodman and Johnny Garnes. And by the way, a very quick shout out for Evan Belford on the City Lifting by RS Racing Machine. Out of action, broken leg I'm afraid, crashed on Friday in practice. Garnes was behind him and had nowhere to go, so best wishes to Evan Belford. He definitely would have been a title contender this year, but you just don't know, do you? If you can see the champion last year out for several races and back to win it, it could still happen as we come through to the end of lap 8. This is Woodcote Corner. This is where Rins and Marquez were side by side for the MotoGP race finish just a few years ago. We're not even at half race distance yet, Taylor, and these races are so much longer, aren't they, than the other junior races here at BSB. But again, it's road to MotoGP. All of the talent cups are like that, because otherwise it's just going to be a massive culture shock when you eventually get to Moto3, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I'd forgotten myself exactly how long a Superstock race is, but the National Superstock 1000 Championship is roughly 16 laps, and this is another 6 laps on top of that. So it's really good for these kids to get a lot more track time. They can learn how to ride their bikes and really improve as riders.
Down into the left-hander at Brooklands, and again Via and Garnes are ahead at the end of the straight. It's as you were here at Silverstone, apart from the fact that Correa and Stevenson are now side by side. Something flapping around there on the right-hand side of number 23's leathers. That's the black bike here in our picture in 5th position. So we're around Copse. This is the left-hand side. But look on the right-hand side of his leathers as he comes out of Copse corner. Taylor McKenzie, what do you reckon that might be?
It could be numerous things. One, it could be a piece of duct tape. So on the front of these bikes they use duct tape to keep the radiator hot. It's difficult to see exactly, and then they take that off during the race, so it could be getting stuck as they take that off, or it could be the leather badges that they have on these leathers are stitched in, and then sometimes if you have a crash the stitching can come off, but they're still glued on, so it'll stick on still but come off. Or the third option is he went to the toilet and he's not got rid of the toilet paper properly. Could be any of those three if you ask me.
Have you ever had that problem yourself?
Not publicly.
Right, anyway, back in the motorcycle race, we're just coming through to the end of lap 10 here, and this is your top 6 pulling away from the rest of the group. What is the gap? It's 4 seconds now, back to a really spirited fight for 7th as well. Via, Garnes, Crosby, Stevenson in the middle, Carter Brown, inside line there, attacking is Correa, the American, and he goes through. Very, very confident on the brakes, isn't he? He was actually up there yesterday. We had 3 different nationalities on the front row of the grid from qualifying. Desoy again, we know how strong he is under brakes. That's Johnny Garnes on the outside. Keanu Vai closest to us. There goes Desoy. Crosby rather, not Harrison Desoy. Harrison Crosby, sorry, on number 15, the Banks Racing Machine. Garnes as well is going to be thinking surely about the championship. I know it's still early days, but he won the race yesterday, didn't he? And he was so smart, actually. If you are just joining us, there was an incident yesterday. Harley McCabe had a problem, and there was a fear for a while that oil might be down on the track. It wasn't, but obviously the riders were concerned about it. And Garnes backed off. He was leading, dropped to about 4th, let the others hit the scene first to survey the scenario. That's smart, isn't it, from a 13-year-old?
Very smart. It's these situations where oil is down on the track. I fell victim to it myself at turn 1 here a couple of years ago in Superbike. There was a huge stream of oil across the track from Hector Barbara's bike, but things happen so fast on a motorbike. You're approaching these corners, even in this class they're still doing 140 mile an hour on the straights, and you approach it that fast. By the time the first rider's gone down, it's easy for you to just slip off as well. So it was good presence of mind to think that, but yeah, it's not easy because obviously the oil is just in a thin stream across the track. You can't see it at all, and before you know it, you've gone over it. It's very difficult to know what to do.
The thing you mentioned before about the tape on the radiators, I was chatting to some of the guys about that last year. Steve Patterson, one of the legendary men in the paddock here, who's taken titles in the Moto3, the Moto Star Days, 125s, and running riders here in the Talent Cup as well. And some of them like the riders to be able to remove the tape manually, and others don't, do they?
Yeah, so I didn't explain that very well. So the tape on the radiator keeps the radiator warmer. So if the race starts off cold and it gets hot, you've got the option to remove that. And the way they do it is a piece of duct tape all up the front of the radiator, and then it's just put on a cable tie on the handlebar, and you can pull the cable tie and it pulls the duct tape off the front of the radiator. The reason you do that is if the bike starts overheating in the race, you can pull that cable tie and cool your bike back down. But sometimes with younger riders, they're not always concentrating on exactly what's happening. If the bike's not at the right temperature, you pull that tape off and the bike runs cold, it could then potentially have a cold seizure. So it's tricky to know what to do. They've got a good idea of what temperature these bikes run at and in what conditions they'll run at that temperature. So yeah, that's what it's there for.
Must be quite tricky though if you take it off and then if you haven't done it, because it's too late by then, isn't it? There's the progression, left and right, red is down, green is up as they fly towards us. This is the group headed by one of the Ryan Sapsui machines, the Safety Lifting bike there, the red bike, number 43, the 14-year-old Ryan Hitchcock. And this is that second group. So here's Ryan in 7th place. Right behind him is Harley McCabe. Harrison Desoy is in there. Number 61 is Harrison McKay, who will be turning 14 tomorrow, so happy birthday to him. And incidentally, talking of ages, as we rejoin that leading group, the minimum age has gone up this year from 12 to 13, but no rider is older than 17 in this race. 13 to 17, that went up, of course, as many classes in racing did after some of the very serious accidents we had in 2021. We're only just, though, into the second half of this race, and tactics will really start to come into play now. In case anyone's wondering about tyre wear, Taylor, will that be an issue on this short track with these sorts of bikes?
The tyres will degrade slightly during the race, but it's not going to be like a superbike race where we get tyre dropping off really fast and riders dropping backwards. We'll just have a look here.
Ted Wilkinson's in the mix. What's happened? Ooh, we were going to say exceeding track limits. He's done well to hold on to that one.
That is a very impressive save. He's just ran out of track there, and hopefully the grass appears in time. It does. And yeah, impressive save. He just got a little bit wide on the exit there, got on the green, and that corner tightens up on itself. It's very easy to just run out of track. Before you know it, you're on the gravel, and there's not a lot of grip on that gravel.
That was the R&B racing bike a little bit further down the field. Talking of further down the field, we will see them lapping some of the other riders, won't we? They're not necessarily even that far off the pace, but because it's such a short track here, because it is group racing as they go 3 abreast again, this 6 at the front will be catching some of those back markers later on in the race. It'll be absolutely critical to see where they catch them and how efficient those slower runners are with the blue flags. We've just passed the 2/3 cut-off now, so that's critical. Full points would be handed out if the race were to be red flagged from this point onwards. Look at the gap they pull every time down the Wellington Straight. It's always Via and Garness, 2 or 3 bike lengths ahead of the rest of them. Correa, Carter Brown, there's Crosby, Reece Stevenson there at the back of the train, having a much improved 2022. A lot of gravel there on the track where that rider's just rejoined from the off. Still running, by the way, Wilkinson, and last time he crossed the line he was in 19th place. We'll see where he is. I think he still is in 19th place despite that moment. There's Correa, the American, having a look around the outside. Completely different sort of track here at Silverstone for Correa, but some of the tighter tracks we go to later in the year will be quite similar, won't they, to the American circuits. Garrett Gerloff said to me a few times in the Worlds paddock that he likes Donington because it's so similar to some of the American tracks.
I think using Donington as an example of the UK circuit is probably, he's had an easy introduction to UK tracks there. If he thinks Donington's a UK circuit, I want to bring it to Cadwell or not Kill. But it is more like a British track, and the American tracks, from what I've seen in AMA, I've never raced at a lot of those tracks myself, but they do look similar. They're fast and flowing and bumpy, and they also have a lot of undulations in as well, so it'll be a lot more like what he's used to. It's different for the European racers that come over here from Spain and Italy, and they come to our tracks, and it can be a massive culture shock, but I do think it is more similar to some of the American tracks, yeah.
Keanu Via, number 53, he's never won a race here in the Honda British Talent Cup. Johnny Garnett certainly has. Most recent win for him was here yesterday. He's leading this championship. All of these other riders are striving to get onto the top step of the podium for the first time. Look at Garnett just having a look on the outside as we come down to Maggots. There's Correa. Carter Brown here. He was fastest in the fastest laps yesterday, which put him on pole. He was also fastest in the warm-up earlier on today. I wonder if Carter's just boxing clever. He's one of the more experienced riders in the class. He was right up there, second in the championship last year. Let's watch him towards the end of this race. Here is the second group, and the gap now is 7 seconds back to these guys. But what a scrap this is for 7th place downwards. It's just as fraught as the one at the front, isn't it? Number 61 towards us is Harrison McKay. Then 2 of the Microtis bikes right behind him. Oh, there's a lot of marbles and gravel on the track there. And Roosbrook, who you mentioned earlier on, is right up, Taylor, in this group. Number 84, one of the many rookies in the category this year. They're learning quickly as well, because although the Talent Cup get a little bit more track time than the other categories, it's still relatively limited, isn't it? So they're learning very quickly.
You can see in a couple of areas here, as they get a run out onto the faster corners, the corners then tighten up on themselves, so it looks like they're just about to get past, then all of a sudden they run out of track. So a little bit of track knowledge there. You can see Roosbrook, as the race will go on, he'll try and figure that out a little bit, because as you come out of that last corner, it's crucial to get a run through to the checkered flag with the finish line. Johnny Garness is still in second here. He's looking good. It's a similar race to how this panned out yesterday. Johnny got away at the front at the beginning of the race. They caught him back up, and then he sat there until the last lap and then pulled the pin on the last lap. So if he's thinking about doing the same so far, he's doing a good job of that, and I'll look forward to seeing what he does on the last lap.
Yeah, and he planned it perfectly yesterday, didn't he? The others will surely know now that that plan worked out perfectly for him. So let's see what they can do to stop that from happening. But I suppose, Ted, if he clears Via, we know he'll pull away down the Wellington Straight. We'll see if he can pull the pin and then pull away moving into that final lap of the race. Is this going to be contact? I think it probably is in that second group as they fight hard for position.
I can't talk about anyone making a hole when I've got a brother called Tara McKenzie at the same corner. But that was incredibly close riding there, and he only just rubbed him. I was very impressed that he didn't back off. In the Superbike race you saw there where Kyle Ryder had to take a big look and roll out of it, where he kept the throttle open there. It was quite good to watch.
So what you're saying is you can get through Lovefield side by side and not take the guy on the outside down. Is that what you're saying?
No comment.
Right, we're coming through to lap 20, 3 to go. Correa has put in a 1:01.6, 40, third position. That's the fastest lap of the race so far. That orange circle on the left-hand side of the screen is the fastest lap so far. Okay, let's see if Garnes can do then what Taylor's just been talking about and pull away in the closing stages. At the moment, they are absolutely locked together, and they continue, despite fighting like this, to pull away from the second group. They're now 9 seconds ahead of them. Let's look down the track as well. No lap traffic as yet, look, as they look down towards Brooklands.
Carter's also made his way through here. Maybe he was boxing clever, sat in the group, saving his tyres and his energy, ready for this last lap. He'll be fully aware that Johnny's tactic yesterday was to sit there till the end and then go for it on the last lap. And for him to stop that, he's going to have to be in front of him to try and hold him up going onto the straight, because if he's not, Johnny will gap him coming onto the straight, and he'll really struggle to make a pass at the end of it as we approach Brooklands and Lovefield. So Carter's got to be thinking about getting in front before they get to that point, but there's only 2 laps left now, so he's running out of time.
Prizes given out to all of these guys and girls as well in terms of tyres. The winner of each race gets 1 front and 1 rear from Dunlop. Second gets a rear, third gets a front. Cash prizes are given out as well, £500 for the winner, and that's from MSVR down to 10th place, £50, and Dunlop awards cash prizes to the top 3 in the championship as well. This then is the penultimate lap, and as you can see, Garnes is in front. Carter Brown, as you said, Taylor, is trying to go with him. This is where we know Garnes has the advantage in a straight line. Via does as well. He drafts ahead of Carter Brown, and they know Garnes is trying to check out as he did yesterday. Can they close up on Johnny Garnes? Look, he's absolutely pulling it. You can see it visually. Look how he's escaping from the pack. He's going to do it again, isn't he?
Yeah, and Carter could see that as well. He's getting a little bit frustrated trying to get past, and he needs to be in front, because if he doesn't, making the pass here is going to cost him time himself, and that just allows Johnny to eke away at the front.
Johnny Garnes then leads them into the final lap of the second race of the weekend, and this is where Carter Brown, his teammate here, number 74, as they start the last tour, needs to close in, and this is good news for Carter Brown, because Via is attacking Garnes. Look, Brown and Crosby have more corner speed through Copse. Garnes, though, holds the advantage. Brown's got to clear them now for second place to be able to do anything about his teammate. Oh, up the inside comes Via and Correa, and Garnes loses the lead. I didn't expect that to happen. And it's the Cresswell bike there. That was unbelievable.
Just let the brakes off, went underneath 3 riders. He was the last person in that group I was expecting to get through, but that was an amazing pass.
So where is Garnes? He's in second place. It's Keanu Via on target for his first one at the moment. Stevenson, oh, Garnes goes down, and that's the championship leader out of the race. He was having to push time on another one. Carter Brown's gone, 2 more have gone. Did Stevenson go as well? So it's the 2 Cresswell bikes now with the Banks Racing Machine of Crosby between them. It's Keanu Via, the Dutch rider. Can he come through for his first victory? The 13-year-old from Meppel. Keanu Via wins. Crosby is second. Correa from America is on the podium as we lose 3 of the top 6 in the last 2 corners of the race. Carter Brown